Hey everybody, Josh Siertzen of World Alternative Media here, and will you look at that? It was a massive correction last night for Bitcoin, for basically every cryptocurrency you can think of. It was huge, and I can't help but be very excited about it. This is a huge discount sale for everyone coming up on Christmas. There are multiple reasons why this is happening. I'll go into a few. I want to make sure that some people come online first. Just waiting for a few people to tune in. Anarchism Unlimited says, hey, hello. I love the voluntarist sign on your picture. Let's see here. I'm going to look at Bitcoin right now. So there's been a slight recovery. Well, I should say more than slight recovery as of now. It's up at $14,169 from about $12,000. It was just at about 15,000 about a half hour ago. It's up and down. There's some, uncertainty, but I think that we should all be very excited about this because we are seeing a revolution happen. We've seen this happen countless times this year so far. We saw it go from $2,000 to $1,000. Everyone was panicking. They're like, sell off. It's all going to nothing. It's going to go to zero, which can't mathematically happen. And then we saw it go from, I think, 3,000 to 1,800, then 5,000 to 3,200, then 11,000 to 9,200, then up to 19,000 down to 13,000. Now 20,000 down to 12,000. This is something that we've been waiting for. It's incredibly important that we have these healthy corrections, or else there is something wrong with the market. I've been actually concerned by the fact that it hasn't happened more frequently, or a bit earlier on in the month after we saw that massive climb. We saw a bit of a correction, but it's just not on the scale that we saw all at one time in the past 24 hours. And it's affected basically every cryptocurrency I can think of. Hello, Greg Hill. Hello, John Smith. I'm going to go into a whole bunch of the questions here. Rika, the hopeful voluntarist. I'm going to go into a whole bunch of questions in the chat right away, but I'm just really excited about this. Let's look at some of the other cryptocurrencies. Ethereum down to 684. Bitcoin Cash was down to as low as, I think, about 2,100 or something. Now it's up to 2,746. Ripple actually didn't do that bad in this whole correction. It's a banker coin. There's going to be different fundamentals. Litecoin is down to 267, and it's been undervalued as it is, so I can see a massive rally coming soon for Litecoin. Cardano, it's down to about 42 cents. IOTA took a huge hit, and again, this is like a 30% off sale, guys. EOS, I just posted my interview with Dan Larimer, the creator of EOS, Steem, and BitShares earlier today. I hope you check that out. Really interesting. Anyway, in the time that we did the interview yesterday to now, it went from $12 for one EOS down to like 6 something. Now it's at $7.89. There is one website, I forget which one it was, that said it was at $3 at one point, which I haven't seen on any other exchanges. But anyway, I got the memo. Monero is down to $3.53. Steem actually took a huge hit. Steem went from, I think, $4.21 down to $2.11, back up to $3.14 as of now. I think there's going to be a huge bullish signal going out right away on Steem. I am very excited about that. But let's get to some questions first before I continue on. Sunny Malhotra asks, what price should I buy at? Well, that is certainly not on me. This is my opinion. I personally think that any time's a good time to buy. Even those that bought right as it peaked at $20,000 before it fell, even for them, that's not a bad thing. I mean, we're going to see a massive skyrocket. I'm going to go into a bit about there are some problems with Bitcoin that need to be solved. I'm going to go into that in a moment. But yeah, I think there is definitely a lot to be said there. Michael Ruiz says you should talk more about IOTA. I will talk more about IOTA in the future. I'm trying to get as up to date as possible. IOTA is obviously not following the same fundamental mathematics as something on the usual blockchain would. It's a different, it's a whole different fundamental, thing. I don't know what else to say. It's a totally different makeup, and I want to first get to the bottom of that to the best of my ability before I really break into all of that. Anyway, so I want to go quickly into one of my posts from earlier today on STEEMIT.com. I wrote a post called "Stop Panic Selling and Chill," and basically, as the article says. So a lot of us lost a lot of money overnight, and I'm here to say that that's okay. That's part of the fun. It's a roller coaster ride on a monetary revolution that we get to be a part of. That's amazing. I can't help but notice how many people panic sell. We need to be patient. Panic selling is about the same thing as having a bunch of money, seeing its value go down slightly, so you throw it all into a lake out of fear, or you may as well burn money. Bitcoin is not going to zero. It's mathematically impossible. Remember, Bitcoin, and I just went into this in the video, you know, Bitcoin went from 2K down to 1K, 3K down to 1.8K, 5K down to 3.2, 6K down to 5K, 11K down to 9.2, 19K down to 13K, and now we see it go from 20 to 12, and we freak out and sell? Hell no. We're far from the finish line. We've seen this pattern before. Let's all take a chill pill and be happy for the discount prices we are getting. I personally think this drop was a result of a big banker sell-off, which caused some panic in the markets, but that's fine. We continue to build, and the demand gets bigger by the day. And also, I think there was a bit of, you know, holiday Christmas shopping going on too, but it's hard to say. There's always multiple reasons, but the market's always right, one way or another. So on top of that, the options with altcoins get more and more amazing all the time. The game has just begun. Now there are some serious problems with Bitcoin lately that need to be solved by the Lightning Network as soon as possible. A few months in the crypto world is an eternity as the market's infrastructure grows all the time, leaving that which is antiquated in the dust. So in a market based on competing currencies, application, demand, scarcity, and you name it, the transaction fee and wait time issue needs to be solved. Seriously, that is a must. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. So I hope Bitcoin Core gets on with it and shows us this apparent fantastic network they've been telling us about for too long already. I have hope for it. It's just a little annoying when businesses across the board have stopped using Bitcoin and are looking to things like Bitcoin Cash. Kind of hard to explain to a newbie why Bitcoin is so amazing only to tell them to cash out and into something else, or convince a business owner to take Bitcoin only for them to have countless issues and then have to convince the same business owner to get into Bitcoin Cash or Dash or EOS all over again. It's frustrating, but we're well on our way regardless. These problems will appear very futile and tiny further down the line. We will laugh at these issues one day, just like we laugh at the notion of dial-up internet today. So hold on to your boots. We've got a long way up the mountain, and I don't see the top. So that was my post today on STEEMIT.com. There's a lot more to go into. I'm going to take some comments or questions here. Let's see. K-pop asks, is there a disinfo coin? Yes, I would say Ripple and probably a good 1,000 of the, 2,500 coins out there. A lot of bad coins out there. Do your own due diligence. Look out for scarcity. Look out for demand. Look out for application. Look out for transparency. Look out for privacy. Look at these different aspects. Whatever you personally want, the market, like I said, is always right. But there are really bad coins out there too. Like Stellar Lumens, I believe, is attached to Ripple, and Ripple is a banker coin, and I would stay away from that. Let's see. Let's look at some questions here. There's a lot of talk about Alex Jones. I'm not sure why it's a video about Bitcoin, but to each their own. We all have issues with Alex Jones. Let's see here. Making dreams come true. Where can you spend it? 30% sale. It's a pyramid scheme. No, it's okay. Look, pyramid schemes need a network. So basically, you get in on a pyramid scheme. You put money in. You end up having to be dependent on other people in your network to buy from you and get pulled into that scheme as well, which helps grow it. This is a free market, decentralized cryptocurrency based on scarcity, application, and demand. It's not a pyramid scheme. It's a pyramid in one way or another, as is anything in the market, but not a scheme. There is a difference, and I think that we need to understand that difference. I don't believe that, you know, people voluntarily deciding to buy into something that is decentralized instead of the fiat garbage or the bond garbage on the stock market, etc. When you decide to break free from the central banking system, break free from actual derivatives bubbles based in debt, then I don't think that we're talking about a pyramid scheme here. I think we're just talking about individuals choosing their own market and pulling away from this centralized system. So fiat is based in out of control, quantitative easing, fractional reserve, nothingness, centralization, debt. It's just based in manipulation under legal tender laws. Bitcoin is based in, like I said, scarcity demand application. There's a cap on it, 21 million coins by the year 2140. There's no ways around that. And there's a lot of other cryptocurrencies with what some might say even better, outlooks and better white papers. But I think this notion that let's just, pawn it off as a pyramid scheme, that's what I'm hearing all day on the news. And these are the same guys that say invest long-term in the stock market. That's completely derivative bubble madness that's ready to explode. I think people need to understand the difference between the manipulation of markets and free market individual demand. It's so important, but I find myself explaining it a lot. With all due respect, I think that one has to get a better understanding of what they're talking about before getting so passionate about hating something. That's just me. K-pop says, the fake alternative media is pumping Bitcoin so hard. Wonder why? I don't know. First of all, because we're not fake. Mainstream media is fake. There are some bad independent medias out there, etc. But you can make that your own decision on that. But I would say that it's not that we're pumping Bitcoin. Think about it. Hundreds of billions of dollars in Bitcoin. If there's hundreds of billions of dollars in Bitcoin, how is my channel with 41,000 subscribers, we might be able to get people to put $1 million into Bitcoin, pumping Bitcoin? It's not doing anything. It's not even making a slight dent, 0.00000000001%. It's nonsense. No pumping here. It's just talking about something that I believe in, just like I believe in gold and silver, just like I believe in individual freedom and liberty. I don't know why that is so complicated for some people to understand. We're not paid shills. I keep getting these comments, you're a paid shill by Roger Ver, or you're a paid shill by Bitcoin. Bitcoin isn't a person. Bitcoin isn't an organization that's paying people to promote it. It's an idea. It's an idea whose time has come. It's a market. It's something that people like. I have a lot of problems with Bitcoin, and I talk about those problems. I also think, though, that the vast majority of people who have issues with Bitcoin don't understand what Bitcoin is, and that is a huge issue that we need to get to the bottom of. Now, I am very proud to see that one of my favorite people here, Michael Holiday, just gave a $50 super chat. Merry Crypto Christmas. Absolutely. Merry Christmas. Come one, come all. It's 30% off sale. Everything must go. We got to empty this warehouse. We got Bitcoins left. We got Bitcoins right. We got Dash. We got Ethereum. We got Litecoin. We got EOS. We got Steem. And we should all be very happy and excited about this time that we live in, because it's like no other time we've ever seen throughout history. It's a non-violent monetary revolution, and we're on the ground floor. Merry Christmas, Michael Holiday. I very much appreciate the donation. I couldn't be happier to see people get so passionate about this issue, and it makes me hopeful. Let's see. We will look at a few other comments here. Gordon Oog. Sorry if I pronounced your name wrong. He says, I sold my Potcoin because it acted like potheads. Yeah, Potcoin is not great. Potcoin was massively pumped due to Dennis Rodman, of all people, going to North Korea with a potcoin.com or whatever shirt on. And then he went on Stephen, what's his name? That terrible comic, Stephen Colbert. He went on that show and wore a Potcoin shirt again with a thing that says unity with him, Kim Jong-un, and Stephen Colbert on it. It was just strange, very strange. Anyway, I wanted to thank everyone that's tuning in. If you're just tuning in, like I said, it's 30% off. This is not a time to panic. We should be very excited about this. This gives opportunity to new people in crypto to really experience a full scale of the opportunities in front of them. Now, this is my opinion, not financial advice. I want to make that clear because you have to go to a Keynesian nonsense university to get a degree to actually legally say this or that or this or that, you know, give obvious advice based on facts that you know are true. But that comes down to people's own due diligence. So anyway, let me just look at a few of these. Hello, John Butakis. Let's see here. Yeah, Michael Holiday says, you get a Bitcoin, you get a Bitcoin, you get a Bitcoin. Look under your seats. Anyway, so this is exciting, especially running up on Christmas here. It's nice to see a pullback, which gives opportunity to give a few Christmas presents out as well in Bitcoin and watch people see for themselves how it grows. And that's another thing, like why I want to get more people into STEEMIT.com. Because STEEMIT.com, so many people are like, I don't know how to buy Bitcoin. It's too complicated. I don't want to do it. They can get into Bitcoin by getting into STEEMIT. All they have to do is get an account. They don't have to put money in. They get upvotes. They make money off their upvotes due to the demand of their posts. And then they end up being able to trade into Bitcoin. And then they have Bitcoin without ever actually physically putting money into Bitcoin. I think that's a beautiful thing. And I don't understand why more people aren't on STEEMIT.com, because it's such a huge, innovative platform that, I mean, it's social media on the blockchain. It's forever changing the outlook of social media. As, you know, people went from television and, you know, radio and all that kind of stuff. They went to television because they were sick of the newspapers. Then they went to Facebook, YouTube, etc. because they're sick of the nonsense on TV. And then now they're moving over to the blockchain, and I hope that people start pulling in this direction, because we need decentralization and we need individual demand on the free market, not censorship and absolute muzzling and demonetization of creators that have a different point of view than the establishment. That's important. Let's see. I'm just looking at STEEMIT.com right now, speaking of that. Looking at some questions. There's a few spam comments and a few decent ones. Okay, we found a decent one. The Art of Thomas on STEEMIT, at The Art of Thomas, all one word, on STEEMIT says, yep, this correction is a perfect Christmas gift. I absolutely agree, Thomas. And let's see. Steve Article Pro says, wow, this is mind-blowing. Yeah, it's boom, explosion. Yes, it's amazing. Anyway, I'm being silly today because I am running up on the holiday season, and I'm gonna maybe take a day or two off coming up soon. Not tomorrow, though. I am posting a video tomorrow, maybe two. But going into Christmas Eve and stuff, I gotta spend time with my family. I gotta spend time with my girlfriend. I gotta spend time with people and away from the computer for once. I've been all day, you know, between doing videos and everything, trading on Bittrex, etc. And it's I need to pay attention to people in my life. Let's see. Okay, so we got that K-pop guy going up and going on and on about how I'm a shill and the jig is up, shill. Wow, yeah, you got a whole lot of evidence you're holding there. Someone has a different idea than you, and they're automatically a shill. Great logic. You must be incredibly proud of yourself. You've gotten so much done today. You are not wasting anybody's time at all going on an independent media channel with 41,000 subscribers telling them that they're a shill for some who knows what, Bitcoin. I have a different opinion than you, and therefore I'm a shill. Look, if anyone is more suspicious of being a shill, it would be you for going on comments and spending all your time calling other people shills, divides people, makes you look like a bit of a shill. K-pop. Oh man, K-pop. Wasn't that like a 90s thing? Let's see. You're parroting the disinfo crowd. Jones is disinfo. K-pop says. First of all, I have nothing to do with Alex Jones. Second of all, Alex Jones like never, ever, ever talks about Bitcoin. Ever. That's one of the problems I have with him. And yeah, so keep going with that though, man. I mean, you're really making your point very clear right now. I should stop wasting my time with this, but it's kind of entertaining. Anyway, yeah, I agree, Michael Ruiz. Haters are wasting my time. Chris Anthem says, haters are just undercover fans. K-pop, you say I've been pumping it so hard. Pumping, I don't think you understand what that word means, especially in a market with hundreds of billions of dollars. Anyway. So, Amy Saldoff says, just hedge yourself with some gold and silver. I agree. Gold and silver are incredibly undervalued. People seem to pick sides. It's like gold or silver or Bitcoin. The Bitcoin people hate gold and silver. The gold and silver people hate Bitcoin. I think that diversification is key to financial responsibility. Gold and silver are incredibly important. They've been held down by paper ETFs for long enough, like that beach ball that you're pushing underwater until it gains pressure and it shoots up. I think that it's important that people understand, the banks are manipulating gold and silver, but the banking system will go down. They don't have a hope in hell. And when that happens, they're going to go into negative interest rate territory. The banking system is going to go down. The central banking system is going to go down. And gold, silver, Bitcoin, many of the decentralized assets out there are going to skyrocket, in my opinion. I think it's amazing. Gold and silver is great. Bitcoin's great too. And no, K-pop, Alex Jones does not pump Bitcoin all the time. You might have saw one interview with him and Max Kaiser recently, but Alex Jones has been actually fucking attacking Bitcoin for quite some time. Excuse my language. Now I'm going to get demonetized. Let's see. Yes. Oh my God. It's so funny when people have like such a lack of understanding about a topic, but they get so passionate about it. I've had people nonstop online, on Facebook especially, just going, you don't know anything about Bitcoin, blah, 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 blah. And then they go on to say Bitcoin and the stock market are the same thing, and the stock market's going to crash. And I'm like, dude, what are you talking about? Then they're like, Bitcoin is fiat. And I'm like, you don't know what fiat is then, and you don't know what Bitcoin is then. Now you have a couple problems on your hand. You should probably research both of them so you understand centralization versus decentralization, legal tender versus free market. It's not a totally difficult situation, but when you are that behind but so passionate about it, you got to question some people's logic out there. Now, P.W. Frazier says, any words of wisdom about Verge? I say that, like, when I know John McAfee mentioned Verge, the cryptocurrency, recently, XVG, also known as that. It skyrocketed in value, like, astronomically. It blew up. And I think that we saw a bit of a dip after we saw it, like, I think quadruple a couple times. I have only just gotten really into Verge in the past, I don't know, week. And I'm starting to understand it a bit more. I think that there is a lot of good application use for Verge. So I think we will see it climb quite a lot more in the near future. I think that this dip in all cryptocurrencies brought it down alongside many others. But I think that there's a lot of good in Verge, and I think we haven't seen the end of it yet. I've also been paying attention, though, to John McAfee, who's on Twitter every day telling people what the coin of the day is, his favorite coin to mention on that specific day, and it's causing every cryptocurrency altcoin that he's talking about to skyrocket. Now, yes, it's a bit of a pump, but it's a great service to us when we get in and then we see our money multiply. It's a good thing. Mandy Eden says, John Maloney loves, Mike Maloney, I think you mean, loves gold, silver, and Bitcoin. He's a very smart man. Yeah, he definitely is. Absolutely. Let's see. Looking at a few comments, there's a lot of comments coming in. Henry Bowman says, do Bitcoins make good kindling? No. Trees do, though. You can have both. You don't only need one. I don't think that having Bitcoin is going to hold you back from, I don't know, gathering some twigs and stuff and some branches. I think you'll be fine. It's like the common point that people make. You can't eat gold and you can't eat silver. Well, yeah, I know. But there's nothing wrong with diversifying with all forms of prepping, from financial to survival and, individual responsibility. Anyway, sorry if I read that a little bit, read into that wrong. You might have meant something else by it, but anyway, I've heard these points quite a few times already. Let's see. Michael Holiday says, use Bitcoin to buy gasoline. Yeah. Well, there's a huge drop in demand in gasoline prices, and I think that that's going to be a huge issue going forward as that demand drops, and then we see all these auto-backed securities by the banks, this derivative nonsense as per usual, kind of like, the credit default swaps, collateralized debt obligations, and the mortgage-backed securities at the banks for the housing market as well, which causes a huge bubble. Now, that's a real bubble. Again, I really don't understand why so many people call Bitcoin a bubble but are totally okay with a totally centralized market that's blowing up, way overvalued. Bitcoin isn't overvalued. It isn't undervalued necessarily. It is the value that it is based on the demand of the individuals at that particular moment. Anyway, Mr. 760 says, good evening. Sorry I'm late. Better late than never. Glad to see you. Let's see. Anderson Joseph, cannot eat dollars. Yeah, at some point you might end up only being able to use, paper currency for actual kindling, like I mentioned before there. We've seen a whole bunch of countries throughout the world where the central banking system went down, forced to use their fiat as wallpaper or, to get their fire going, to heat their home. And we're going to see that again, over and over again. We've seen it hundreds of times, going back to 1024 AD in China with the first real fiat currencies. Now, I shouldn't say real. I should put that in quotations. Josh, when the price of Bitcoin and other altcoins drop, can that be considered inflation? Michael Ruiz says. I would consider inflation, first of all, there's two ways of looking at that question. So first, inflation would be, the devaluing of said thing, and there isn't out of control printing leading to the price of living going up. We can also see things like, sorry, I've been talking a lot today. We can also see things like, the price of Bitcoin going down at a rate that is in no way comparable to the rate of inflation or deflation, I guess you could say. A lot of people have actually mentioned to me over time that Bitcoin is only going up because inflation is going up, because the US dollar is going down, which would mean that the US dollar would have had to go down 20 times since last January, which would have already led to a domino effect into hyperinflation. So that's an interesting issue that people have with it that is not exactly informed. But I know Michael Ruiz isn't saying that, so I'm going to try and get, can you give me a bit more context, just so I know what you mean by that, because there's different kinds of inflation. Anarchism Unlimited says taxation is theft. Absolutely. How could it be anything but theft? It's extortion, theft, blind robbery at gunpoint, throw you in a cage. Jeez, K-pop, man. Get off the crack. Decentralized. So few own the vast majority of it. Ponzi pumper. All capitals. Man, do I even bother anymore, guys? I don't know. It's ridiculous. I can explain all I want, but this guy is a shill, if anyone's ever been a shill. A shill for the centralized markets. I don't even know what that means anyway. Ponzi pumper. Yeah, okay. First it's a pyramid scheme, then it's a Ponzi scheme. Okay, then. I guess in that case, gold and silver is also a Ponzi? Or, I don't know, someone likes a product and they pay for it and the demand goes up, that's also a Ponzi? Anyway. Oh, my dad's online. Okay. He says, no, don't bother. I'll think about it. There's a lot of hate going around over Bitcoin because there's a lot of people that are jealous that they didn't get into it and they so badly want to see it fail. They want to see it fail because they want to be proven right, as opposed to other people gaining vast wealth in the liberty community and being proven right. They would prefer that all these people in the liberty community go broke because they didn't get in and now they're jealous of it, so they want other people to fail to cement their point of view. But the fact is, you should always be cheering for people to do well, regardless, as long as they're not doing anything wrong that is in some way infringing on other people's rights. So I really think that there's a serious issue with people looking at those that got into Bitcoin 5 years ago, 4 years ago, 3, 2, 1, this January, this May, this June, this September, and seeing the dividends they've made and somehow turning that into, well, they're shills, they're bad people, they're idiots, blah, 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 you know, blah, blah, blah. I'm Peter Schiff. Everyone's an idiot except for me, you know. I've been misleading my viewers for years, as he would say. There's a huge amount of jealousy, and I think that we have to wrap our head around the fact that not everything we're going to like, other people in the liberty community might get on top of. We might not like it, but we should support their mission in doing good unto others and growing their wealth in order to help fund the liberty movement better. And somehow talking about Bitcoin to then Ponzi pumper, pyramid pumper, Alex Jones disinfo. It's just nonsense, gobbledygook, just blah, 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 just blabbering on. It doesn't mean anything. And I should commence just completely ignoring that whole situation and stop talking to some of those people. I just like to communicate with people, and I like to try and get down to issues with people, but sometimes it's impossible to get through to some people's heads. K-pop, like, I'm not going to talk about Alex Jones. That's not what this video is about. And if you want to talk about Alex Jones, go for it. I'm not stopping you. I would block you if I was going to censor you. I'm not that kind of person. You can go ahead and blab on all you want. I'm not a big fan of Alex Jones over the last year, especially due to some of the things that he's gotten behind. But we all do our own thing. Simple minds think of people. Average minds think of news. Great minds think of ideas. Now let's think of ideas rather than fall into this trap of divide and conquer and attacking each other based on different viewpoints or whatever motivation that person may or may not have. I think that I have a lot of issues with Stefan Molyneux, but I think that he's done great in certain areas where he uses these certain tactics, and people follow that and they like that. Takes different stripes, different kinds of ways to get different people into the liberty community. Anyway, let's see. Michael Holiday says, somebody donate every time K-pop opens his dumb mouth. I would very much enjoy that. That would be good. Please do. It's like a drinking game, except for donate to me. Give me money. No, I'm just kidding. So I know someone's going to clip that one bit out and then show it in a video. They shouldn't have said that. My dad says, K-pop has got to step away from the crack pipe. I would certainly agree. You know, crack is bad. I understand experimenting with stuff and whatever, to each their own. Whatever you want to do to your own body is up to you, but you make a fool of yourself when you do a lot of it and end up online ranting all night at people and attacking people instead of actually coming up with ideas and solutions for the world's problems. Something to think about. Maybe it's worth laying in bed in fetal position, K-pop, thinking about your life, thinking about what you've done, thinking of, are you leaving it in a better place or a worse place? Cry and in sorrow and embarrassment for a little while. Consider everything you've done. And then come to a conclusion. Do you continue smoking crack and making other people's lives miserable? Or do you, think of new ideas and build on those ideas and create solutions and turn the negatives into positives and somehow make other people's lives better than the way that they were before you came along? I think that it would be worth checking out, happiness over blabbing on and being negative all the time. You know, it's a great feeling. You feel less depressed when you do good things onto other people instead of spending all your time crying in a bathtub in fetal position with cold water on your head, thinking about how much you can't stand your life because you constantly perpetuate the same issues always throughout your life, and, you know, just constantly make other people's lives miserable, which then comes back to haunt you and makes your life miserable. Just a thought. Anyway, I'm going way off into some weird ideological field here. So let's keep going here. I just enjoy kind of messing with the trolls and trolling them back. Let's see. Capital says, Josh, are there any quantum-proof cryptocurrencies out there in the market yet? Now, I really don't understand this whole quantum computing issue with Bitcoin. There is an issue with some, I'm sure, but I've yet to see any evidence that it's truly going to bring down any of these cryptocurrencies. But there's also, I think there's something called Hashgraph and stuff like that that's being developed right now. We're looking towards interviewing the founders. It's like a build onto the blockchain. It's not the blockchain. It's a more diversified, efficient system, I guess you could say, more decentralized, more encrypted. But anyway, I'm looking at... Pookie Rock says, I like bathtub crying, only I'm not a troll. Alright. Michael Holiday, can you elaborate on Hashgraph is garbage? Because I'm not exactly sure. We're just starting to look into it. I got a book coming to me right away where I'm going to actually read into the whole system. I don't know enough about it yet, so I wanna learn more. That's what it's all about. Remember, this is a whole new system. This whole system is developing before our eyes, and it's nothing we've ever seen before. It's totally a new revolutionary movement that's happening. Let's see here. Chris Anthem now says Amy Sadoff is K-pop. I don't know. We got a whole lot of like fighting and negativity in the comments. Maybe I fueled that in a way. I don't know. Let's just move on to the ideas at hand instead of making fun of people. I've had my fun. We all have. And now let's move on to the great new ideas that we have in front of us. Rika, the hopeful voluntarist, says, I only troll Fox News channels. I can understand that. Fox News, CNN, MSNBC, CNBC, all that nonsense. In Canada, CBC, CTV, Global, all that. Mostly because they're losing so bad. I mean, the mainstream media is just falling. It's crashing hard. Let's see here. People... Lita Blue says, people must be stoned when you do live. Maybe. Hey, you know, whatever. A lot of people, it depends on what kind of stoned you're talking about. Could be fun. Let's see. I'm just looking for some questions. I'm going to go to STEEMIT.com. I'm not going to spend a lot more time here because I'm losing my voice as I speak here. These live streams can get difficult because it's just nonstop talking. And it reminds me of being like having a few drinks at a party that's really loud and constantly talking to people for like hours on end really loudly, and then the next morning you wake up and you can barely talk. And I got like family things coming up right away. Let's see here. Still not really... not a lot of questions on STEEMIT.com. It's up to $11.16. Thank you very much, folks, on STEEMIT. Again, if you're on STEEMIT, make sure to re-steam my recent post on STEEMIT, why EOS is the future of cryptocurrency, where I interviewed Dan Larimer. I really want to get that out as much as possible and, you know, bring people to that post. I don't usually promote an individual post, but I want you to check that out. I'm at Josh Sigurdsson at STEEMIT.com. Anyway. Lita Blue says, CBC, what a joke, with a poop sign. I agree. They are poop. They would never survive on the free market. That's why they're completely government funded. No one likes them. That's why, like, I don't understand why people are like, keep CBC alive. Like, what do you like about government-sponsored mainstream media propaganda, like Emily of New Moon and all these crap trash shows that no one wants to watch, but are on there because they steal people from taxpayers and give to them. And now CBC wants more money from the taxpayers in order to fund this huge operation that is just all crap that no one wants. I mean, they want to get rid of commercials so they can just do more propaganda 24/7. It's horrible. Anyway, Spirit of White Christmas, Hoot Johnson. I will up you 2K. Not sure what's going on. I haven't been able to look at everything in the comments. And Amy Sadoff says, I'm not K-pop. Jesus, I'm subscribed, and I enjoy listening to Josh. I just think crypto will not work, not being negative. Well, that's fine. If you don't believe in it, that's fine. It's to each their own. I'm not telling people that they have to be in this. I'm just promoting what I believe to be true from a long time of researching it. I used to be the same. I used to hate Bitcoin. In 2009, I was told, hey, you should put $2,000 into Bitcoin when it was at about 7 cents. To say the least, I wish I did, but whatever. You can't do anything about the past. Then, moving forward, in 2013, 2014, we did interviews with WAM, with people supporting Bitcoin in Canada, and I doubted them. I said gold and silver all the way. I still love gold and silver. But then, moving forward after that, I was negative on it for a long time, and then I really started realizing that I was blinding myself to the arguments for Bitcoin. I was just sticking to my guns and not allowing my mind to diversify information into something else, into another realm than I'd been before. So I looked into it further. I dug into it further. I kept digging, and then, I realized my fundamental understanding of money was wrong based on physicality rather than that which brings a value in the first place, which isn't necessarily physical. Physical value does bring some value to certain things, but a lot of things are physical and they don't have any value. It's based on the demand of the individuals, the application, the use of said thing, and the scarcity. Not a lot of Bitcoin on this planet, not a lot of gold on this planet, not a lot of silver on this planet. It takes supernovas to create gold. There's artificial gold, but it costs more to make than to sell, etc. So that scarcity brings its demand up alongside the application and demand. Bitcoin is very similar. 21 million coins by the year 2140. Very important to understand that. People don't realize this isn't the same thing as, centrally planned, quantitative easing, fractional reserve, SDR, special drawing rights, IMF, globalist nonsense. If your money's in the bank, it's not yours, it's the bank's. If your money's always going through the banks via digital transactions, legal tender law, centralization, it's not your money, it's never your money, you never hold it in your hand. The bank basically owns all the money that you think is yours, you don't own it, and you're essentially enslaved to the banking system. So, I just think that it's important to understand the differences between that, which many people have an issue with Bitcoin over. There is a huge difference. Anyway, I'm going to sign off right away because I'm starting to get a little raspy here. But yeah, there are issues with Bitcoin as I went into earlier in the video, and those need to be solved, or else people on a competing currency market will go to other options in the cryptocurrency space. This space is moving at rocket speed. A couple days is an eternity. Everything changes very fast. That's why we need to understand, the fundamentals of said currencies, why they have value in the first place, and why we need to understand the white papers and understand how these currencies work, so that when they gain value, it's not necessarily a bubble. There are some bubbles. We have to understand that if Bitcoin just keeps climbing but has no application, then the bubble argument makes more sense. But as long as you can use it as a transaction tool, and as long as people use it also one way or another to get into other cryptocurrencies, they buy Bitcoin and then trade it into something else, there's always that as well, then we're talking about a whole different ballgame. But with this Lightning Network, it needs to be sped up on, and I really hope that we see that Lightning Network soon. We see it in Litecoin very soon. I think Litecoin's gonna go up significantly. It's about time. But yeah, anyway, before I close off this video, I want to update you on where exactly Bitcoin is right now. So Bitcoin is at 14,121. Not the greatest it's done all day. Better than where it was at the beginning of the day. Ethereum's at 689. Bitcoin Cash is at 2,764. Ripple is at $1.16. Banker Coin, again, watch out. Litecoin is at $267. And I'm going to go down to Dash at $1,218. Go down to EOS at $8.08. And let's see here. Verge is at 12 cents, 12.5 cents. Omai's Go, which is another one I like, is at $13.29. Let's see here. Steam is at $3.11. And yeah, I think I will be closing it off there. I really enjoy people having a discussion on here, talking with each other. I enjoy hearing from all of you, other than K-pop. K-pop sucks, man. It's terrible. I mean, just find a way to actually use that energy for good instead of just being a negative, shill on all the chat boards and wasting everyone's time. Anyway, thank you, Chris Anthem. Thank you, Lita Blue. Thank you, Henry Bowman. Anderson Joseph. I love Ron Paul as well. Ron Paul actually has been doing a commercial on Bitcoin on Fox News recently, by the way. Rika the Hopeful Voluntarist, thank you very much for tuning in. Veritasium, Chris Anthem says. Yeah, I have to look into that further, but I've been hearing that from a lot of people. You might be right. Talk to you later. Michael Ruiz. There's a lot of weird stuff going on in the comments. Thank you, Michael Holiday. I really appreciate the super chat. It really helps, especially as I'm being demonetized at the rate I am. And I'm not being paid by some puppet master like K-pop would like to believe. I swear, some of these people would love these negative things to be true just so that they can feel good about themselves and actually have no passion over the, success of other people and mankind as a whole. Yeah, okay. Yeah, again, comments get out of control. Anyway, I'm going to sign out for now before it gets any crazier and distracting and whatever. I really appreciate it, everyone. I hope you enjoy your Christmas or Kwanzaa or Hanukkah or whatever you celebrate. Festivus for the rest of us or whatever you want to call it. I hope that everyone enjoys, their family at this time of year, their friends, get together, share things, help one another. It's a good time to volunteer somewhere, etc. I think the voluntary good of humanity is something that's necessary, especially at this time of year when people have the motivation due to the so-called Christmas spirit. I think that it's important that we help other people that are in need if we have the ability to do so, just not at government theft to monopolize industry and create dependency. Anyway, again, Merry Christmas, everyone. Thanks for tuning in, and this is Josh Sigurdsson signing out from World Alternative Media. Find the truth, be the change.